Well, hello everyone. This is Ron, and I'm back with you for another episode of Empire Coins and Collectibles. I hope that you're joining us on this journey because what we want to do is to promote the coin collecting hobby. We want to create more numismatists out there in the world. I think it would be a better world if we did so, don't you? Well, today we're going to continue with our 1943 Steel Cent episodes. This is part 3, and it's going to be a little different from the 2 previous parts. Yes, we're going to start out with die cracks, but the last 2 coins are kind of special coins, and we'll show you those when we get there. But if you could, please like, share, and subscribe. Tell others about our channel. It would help us immensely to grow the channel. And oh, by the way, don't miss out on our premieres. We try to have a premiere every now and then. It typically is on a Saturday morning, and we join each other and comment and chat while the episode is ongoing. And we do like talking to our viewers. You may have something you wish to share, and if you do, please let us know. Send pictures, and we can talk about that in one of our episodes as well. All right, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to switch over to the short camera here, and I think this coin is fairly bright, so it might be a little washed out. What I'm going to try to do is grab it and bring it in a little closer, and hopefully we can get it to focus, and it does focus sort of well, but you can see it's a pretty clean coin. Now, in the previous episode, we had one of the coins that when we put it under the right light, it clearly had been cleaned. And that's not what I'm talking about here when I say pretty clean coin. It means it's in pretty good shape. A clean coin has really lost all its value. It's not worth a whole lot. But this one looks pretty good. Now I have the arrows down here kind of showing where the die cracks will start and end. Can't really see that here, but what I'm going to do is transition over to the coin microscope. So let me go ahead and change that right now. And I'm going to slide this one. This is the first of the last 3, coin number 7. And you can see that it's a pretty nice looking coin. And there, I'll get the toothpick and make Miss Empire happy. Right there is that die crack. Starts up here on his shoulder and slices down through the shoulder, through the lapel, toward the latter part or the bottom part of the coin. And it's pretty lengthy, right? I'm going to go ahead and lower it. We'll get a little lower so we don't lose it, and then maybe get a higher focus magnification on it. Yeah. So you can see that it's a pretty lengthy die crack. And the reason why I say it's a die crack is clearly up in here, the material is flowing out and above the coin, and it's not a gouge into the surface of the coin. If it were a gouge into the surface, again, we've said this many, many times, it would be a scratch then. But this one clearly is a very lengthy die crack. So I'm going to move it down a little bit lower and let you have a closer look. And we're going to try to move the light around. There it is. So you can see that that material has flowed up out of the planchet when the coin was being minted. And the reason why it was able to flow up out of the planchet is because there was a crack in the die that was pressed with immense force onto the planchet. And then the metal in the planchet flowed like water up into the crack. And of course, when the planchet was released after being newly minted, you could see that die cracks are ridges. They create ridges on the surface of the coin. Pretty interesting, isn't it? And it's a lot of what we've already seen. Let me see if I can bring the lettering into a little bit better focus. The light is a little intense for the glossiness of this surface of the coin. I'm just looking to see if I missed anything, but it looks pretty good, right? Okay. Now, there's something here. This could be part of the coat, but I don't know. I'll have to inspect other examples of the Lincoln cent. This may literally be part of the coat. It may not be. What do you think? Can you share something with me and let me know if it is part of the original design that the engraver made of Lincoln? We're going to flip it over, and nothing was annotated by me on this side, but we could have something I missed. So let's circulate this and play around with the light. This coin is in a flip, so it has cellophane across the top. And I'm seeing something between the U and the S. That could be a die crack right there. There appears to be maybe a cud right there in the lower crook of the S. And I'm seeing something right here. It may be the beginnings of a die crack, and you'll see this die crack. See if I can get the light better. Let me come down a little bit lower. And all I'm trying to do is to get this thing in focus. Yeah, you'll see the beginnings of a die crack maybe right here. And in later coins, that die crack is more robustly shown. In other words, the cracking progressed. There appears to be, I don't know, something here. Is that a die crack right there and there? Or is that scratches? Is that polishing scratches? It's hard to say. This kind of looks maybe like a die crack. All right, I don't see anything else there. Okay, let's go to the next coin. Now, I'm going to change camera views back to the lower camera. This is kind of a treat, I think. Let me just set it up right there. Hopefully that camera will focus. And notice on coin 6, I said that it is a die clash. Now, for those of you that are just starting out coin collecting, what's the difference between a die crack and a die clash? A die crack, really, there's a crack in the die that mints the coins. A die clash is when there's no coins in the between the two dies and they slam together or lightly touch each other. And oftentimes one of the dies leaves an impression in the other die because it's done under great force. And then when a coin is put in there and minted, or a planchet is put in there and a newly minted coin results from that, the lightly kissing of the dies on each other previously, that image that's embedded in one of the dies, when it mints one side of that coin, it has the main features of that coin, whether it's the obverse or the reverse, but it will have also small features or a hint or a shadow or a ghost of features from the reverse or obverse, meaning the other side. So let's go ahead and pull this up and let you take a closer look. And notice, by the way, before we lose it, it says on the obverse, there's die cracks on the obverse, and we'll get to those in just a moment. So we'll let focus and let us see if we can see anything there. Now, what you're going to see when you see this, and it's clear as day under the coin microscope, there's like a bird's eye right there. And then there's structure up in this area and then down through this area. So let's go ahead and put it under the coin microscope. We're going to change the coin microscope to the coin microscope. This is, of course, coin number 8, and I'm going to move this up so we get a bigger view of the coin, and maybe we can see hints of the die clash as we focus it. And I think you're getting the impression of that right now. So we're going to turn it around. Can we see it? It's really pronounced when you get the lighting just right. And I think this is getting the lighting just right here. Okay. And what you're seeing is a kind of a bird's eye right there and then back. And what this is, it appears to be the back of Lincoln's neck and head right there. And then this coming down this way is his coat. right? And it's clear as day in person. So I'm going to go down a little lower, bring it into focus, and I'm going to see if I can play around. Yes. So you can see it good there. This, when you have it in hand, you can follow that up to Lincoln's back of Lincoln's head, and it comes into here and then down on his coat jacket. And you can see some structure down here as well. So this is really interesting to me in that it is a die clash and it makes the coin that much more interesting. And you can see some rounded structures down here. All right, so I want you to do this for me. Whoops. All right, you can see that structure now. And you can see that little bird's eye view. Let me get the lighting just right. I'm going to flip that coin over. And you can see it now. And look, even up here, there's structure all the way up in that area. So I'm going to flip it over and notice this comes down and then out this way. All right, so let's see if we can see that on the other side. Well, look here. Do you see Lincoln's back of his head and it comes down and then out this way? That's the structure I'm seeing on the other side of the coin, but it's upside down over here. So what we should be seeing is actually it's not. And that would say, okay. Right down through there and then out this way. I don't know. What do you think? It looks like a die clash to me. And if it is, that means the coin's much more valuable. If this coin doesn't come back, and sometimes these coins are cleaned and then they're replated with zinc, and people try to create something that looks like brand new and they try to fool the rating services, they're not going to do that. They know what a retreated coin looks like. They're going to call it out. It's a modified coin. But if this comes back pristine in terms of being untreated, which I don't think it is, it comes back in a mint state, and it comes back as having a die clash on it, along with the die cracks, this is going to be something to behold. I'm going to bring it down a little bit lower, and that means it's worth money. Now, how much? I couldn't tell you. It depends on everything in the look of the coin, in the holder, and how dramatic that clashing looks. So let's see if we can turn it around a little bit and get it to show up a little bit more. It's harder to see. There is some structure in there. You can actually see some other things going on here, right there and right there. But here's that bird's, what I call the bird's eye. It's just a little triangular shape. Comes in and then it comes back out. Okay. All right, let's flip it over and look at the die cracks. So this is the top, and I'm going to see if I can't. Now, I want you to look at this right here. This looks like a die crack that takes off the top of his head. Right? So if I can get it in focus a little bit better. There we go. And you can see that it progresses out through there. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of interesting. Turn it around. Now you can really see it as you rotate it around in the light here and then through here. And there's something right up in here too. Okay. Yeah, as a matter of fact, it looks like the die crack begins here and then comes down through there. That's pretty extensive, isn't it? Now here, this is that die crack we've seen before on other coins, just in these episodes, part 1, part 2, part 3. See that? That looks like that portion of the die is on its last leg. If that crack opens up, you would either get a big piece of that die to fall off, and then you'd have this huge die cud, which would be magnificent if you could get a copy of that or get not a copy, but get one that it did occur, because it'd be worth quite a bit of money. But you can see that die crack there. I wonder if that's part of his shirt. Sometimes you can look a little too close and get confused about all that. But over here, you can see the progression of the die crack to this arrow right here. Also very, very interesting, isn't it? So this makes it a very interesting coin. And if that is a die clash, which I believe, die clash with die cracks, the coin is worth money. And we like hearing that, right? Coins that are worth money, finding them out of the collections we buy, or just finding them in trading with other people. Yeah, that's fantastic. All right, we're going to switch back to the main camera again, and we're going to look at the last coin of this three-part series. So we're going to go to this one, and this is coin number 9. And this one has a die clash, the same type of die clash. And that's an important thing to note, because the previous coin has the same structures on it as you will see this coin has. It leads me to believe that it was a die clash. If it were foreign debris falling in on the die and it damaging the die, it would repeat on subsequent coins as well. But because this looks similar to structures on the averse, the back of Lincoln's head, the back of his coat, I think it's a die clash. Okay, I'm going to move this a little closer, and you can take a good look at it before we put it under the coin microscope. Nice looking coin, isn't it? Very clean. Can't really see the clashing all that well because the light's poor here. And we have that same similar types of cracks on the back. So let's go ahead and change it to the coin microscope. Now we're going to rotate it. Now see, you can see it really clearly here. Look at this. It comes into here and then back out. Look at that. And then there's that same features up over in this area here. So clearly something's going on, and I believe look at that. That's very clear right there. It comes up into here and then back out that way. Pretty magnificent, isn't it? And I am very, very hopeful that this certainly does translate into a die clash, which again would make this and the previous coin with its die cracks and the die clash a very desirable coin. And guess what? Desirability translates into dollars, right? Desirability translates into dollars in the collecting community. And so, not that I'm going to sell these coins. You know, my brother and I sent him pictures of these die clashes. And he said, yeah, you're going to be able to sell those for some money. And I said, yeah, but they'd have to pry them from my cold, dead hands, because I think these are going into my collection. Maybe I'll sell one of them, but I don't know. It's hard to, once they're certified, I will send them off to be certified by Annex. And when they come back, I'll keep the best, most certainly, in my collection, the highest rating, and then sell the rest. I mean, that's kind of the motto we've already talked about at some point in the past. If you buy a collection and you're able to keep the best, then you can sell the rest to help pay for that outlay of cash that you made in buying the collection. And sometimes you'll sell the rest for more than you paid for the collection. And that means that your personal collection is cost free. And of course, that's fantastic. We all like something for nothing, right? But that something for nothing is going to take you some effort to sell the rest, right? But I do love this. It's very distinct. There's no doubt about it. That right down through there. So I believe it's a die clash. But truly, Annex will have the final say once I send it in. Let's flip it over and look at the die cracks. Now, we can get a hint of them right here, because these are not beefy die cracks, but they are die cracks that clearly demonstrate the metal flowed out of the planchet into a crack. And once the coin, the newly minted coin, was released, they're showing up as ridges on the surface of the coin. Excuse me. So we can see this over here, starts right there and comes up over there. I'm just trying to see. Yeah. And now you can see this one, it starts right there and comes right through there. So this is the same type of die crack we saw on 2 or 3 of the other coins. And that's all good. Why is it all good? Because if it's repeated across any number of coins, it means it's coming from the original working die, the averse original working die. It means it's embedded in the original working die as a die crack. And therefore, in every subsequent coin that it kisses as it makes it into from the planchet to the real coin, it will have the same feature, the same structure. And in this case, the structure is the die crack. How about that? Let me see if I can take it a little lower, give you a better view of it. I may have to reposition the lamps. Now you can really see that right now. Now, again, I said in the previous episode that I struggled with at first thinking this might be delamination, because there is a plating of zinc over the steel cent, and I'm sure that was done to prolong the life of the cent as it was circulating, simply because steel possibly would degrade through rusting, right? Because it's treated iron. But if you look here, it doesn't look like delamination. It looks like it's a ridge, metal float up out of the surface of the coin as it was being minted. So therefore, I'm saying it is a die crack, not a delamination. Although I do have, I believe it's a 1917 Buffalo nickel that shows a major portion of its averse with a delamination on it. And it's been certified. So I'm hoping this will be the same. I mean, certified as a die crack, not a delamination. Okay. I think, let's flip it back over. I'll put it back on the feature here. And because we've got such high magnification, it's kind of interesting. You can see some structure here, and that's a die crack, it looks like there, but it's also part, maybe it's just part of that die clashing. You can see that hint of that right there into there. I'm going to back it off a little bit. And we'll go ahead, once I get this in focus, and do the wrap up. Okay. Kind of interesting. We're going to bring it up a little more to get the whole view. All right. And there you can see that structure. So it starts right here, goes out there, and then back up. So we'll let Annex tell us what it is. I think it's a die crack. We'll see. All right, we're going to change back to the main camera and do the wrap up. I hope this has been very interesting to you. I hope it's been informative and educational. And if you don't think it's a die clash, but you think it might be something else, please leave a comment down below. I'm open to being wrong, and I wouldn't be the first time. Go ask my wife. Miss Empire will tell you I've been wrong on occasion. But in this particular case, I think it's a die clash. If you have any other thoughts, certainly let me know. All right, with that, my friends, take care and always go out and look and look and look. Read through the estate notices, the estate sale notices. Go to pawn shops. They have coins, and sometimes they don't understand what they really have. Go to the gold and silver shops. The gold and silver shops typically focus more on selling gold and silver, but they do buy coins, and sometimes you can find some real gems there. And obviously, go to your local coin shop. With that, my friends, Be careful and all the best. Good hunting.